Just like we pay income tax on our salaries or sales tax when we shop, Islam has its own form of tax called Zakat. But Zakat is more than just a tax. It's a way to purify your wealth and help those in need, strengthening both your wealth and the community around you. Zakat is a form of obligatory wealth in Islam, often referred to as purification of wealth. The word Zakat itself comes from the Arabic root meaning to purify or to grow. This highlights that giving Zakat not only cleans your wealth, but also brings spiritual rewards and helps society. Zakat is one of the 5 pillars of Islam, meaning it's a key part of the Muslim's faith in daily life. The Quran often mentions Zakat along with prayer, Salah, showing that giving to those in need is just as important as worship. Zakat is more than just a religious obligation. The Prophet, peace be upon him, taught us that wealth is trust from Allah, and that fulfilling Zakat helps us ensure a fairer distribution of resources. It reduces economic disparity by supporting the less fortunate, prevents wealth from being hoarded, and keeps money circulating. The Quran highlights its importance in Surah Al-Tawbah. Take from their wealth a charity by which you purify them and cause them to increase and invoke Allah's blessings upon them. At first glance, Zakat might seem similar to taxes, but there are key differences. Unlike government-imposed taxes, Zakat is a religious duty that comes from faith, not state enforcement. It is given with sincerity, knowing that it benefits the giver and the receiver. Zakat is always 2.5% of qualifying wealth, whereas taxes vary based on income, consumption, and government needs. Additionally, Zakat must be distributed to 8 specific categories mentioned in the Quran, whereas taxes revenue funds government programs, infrastructure, and other state functions. Modern taxes mainly support government budgets, but Zakat is different. It purifies wealth, prevents greed, and directly helps those in need. It's more than just giving money. It builds a sense of social responsibility. Just like other Islamic obligations, Zakat was not introduced all at once, but in stages. In the early years of Islam, in Mecca, charity was encouraged, but there was no formal system of Zakat. The focus was on generosity and helping the poor voluntarily. However, after the Hijrah, migration to Medina, when the Muslim community became more established, Zakat was officially mandated as an obligatory act of worship. The Quran frequently mentions Zakat alongside Salah or prayer, which shows its importance and significance in Islam. One of the earliest verses about charity states, "Establish prayer and give Zakat, and bow with those who bow in worship." As Islam grew, more specific instructions on Zakat were revealed. For example, who is eligible to receive Zakat? The minimum amount of wealth a Muslim must have, known as nisab, to be required to give Zakat, and the percentage of wealth that must be given. We made a video in the past that covers all these topics in details, so if you're interested, you can check them out right here. When the Prophet, peace be upon him, and his followers settled in Medina, Zakat became a structured system rather than just a voluntary charity. It was used to support the poor, orphans, widows, and those in need. The Prophet, peace be upon him, appointed officials to collect and distribute Zakat fairly. One of the earliest examples of Zakat in action was when the Prophet, peace be upon him, organized a public treasury known as the Bayt al-Mal, where Zakat and other charitable funds were gathered and distributed. This ensured that wealth was circulated and did not remain concentrated among the rich. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, constantly emphasized the importance of giving and warned against hoarding wealth. He, peace be upon him, said, "Protect your wealth by paying Zakat, heal your sick by giving charity, and prepare for calamity through supplication." He also reminded his followers that wealth is a trust from Allah and that we must use it responsibly. In one powerful hadith, he said, "The upper hand, giving, is better than the lower hand, receiving." This mindset helped create a society where wealth was shared and no one was left behind. The early Muslims saw zakat not as a burden, but a means to cleanse their wealth and strengthen their community. After the Prophet, peace be upon him, passed away, many tribes started to refuse to pay zakat, seeing it as no longer necessary. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, the first caliph, knew this couldn't stand. He took a strong stance to enforce zakat as both a religious duty and a financial pillar of the Islamic State. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu famously declared, "By him in whose hand my soul is, I will fight anyone who distinguishes between prayer and zakat." This declaration was a turning point. He waged the Ridda wars against those who refused to pay zakat, solidifying its importance for the unity of the Muslim community. As Islam expanded, the role of zakat became even more significant. Under the leadership of Umar radiallahu anhu, Uthman radiallahu anhu, and Ali radiallahu anhu, the system of zakat evolved to ensure it was collected efficiently and distributed fairly. Umar radiallahu anhu, the second caliph, established the Bayt al-Mal, a central treasury to manage the wealth of the state. Umar appointed officials to oversee zakat collection in different regions, ensuring that it reached the poor and the needy. Under Uthman radiallahu anhu, the empire continued to grow, and so did its wealth. But Uthman's focus remained on justice and social wealth. He made sure that zakat was distributed to the most vulnerable, orphans, widows, and the poor. His administration built on the foundation led by Umar radiallahu anhu, ensuring that zakat remained a key tool in promoting social welfare. Finally, we have Ali radiallahu anhu, the fourth caliph. Despite the political challenges during his time, Ali ensured that zakat continued to flow to those who needed it most. He kept up the structure of zakat, reinforcing its importance, even during times of conflict. Throughout the reigns of these early caliphs, the government played a central role in managing zakat. The state collected the funds, appointed collectors, and ensured that zakat was distributed in those in need, whether that was the poor, the travelers, or those in debt. The establishment of Bayt al-Mal was key. This treasury became the center of financial management in the early Islamic State, ensuring that zakat was used to help the community and support the economy. Zakat wasn't just a charitable act, it was a part of the state's welfare system, creating a foundation for the growth of a just society. Today, zakat remains a significant part of many Islamic states, but how it's handled and how it's distributed has changed quite a lot. In many Muslim majority countries, the collection and distribution of zakat have evolved. Some governments have set up systems to collect zakat, while in other places, individuals still have the responsibility of giving it on their own. Some countries, like Saudi Arabia, have government-run systems that collect zakat directly from citizens. The government then ensures it is distributed to those in need, using a central treasury or local offices. But in other countries, zakat is often paid individually. Muslims can pay it directly to those in need or through charitable organizations. This system gives people more flexibility, but can sometimes be harder to monitor. Charitable organizations have played a major role in modern zakat distribution. Many of these organizations focus on specific causes like poverty alleviation, education, and healthcare. They've made it easier for people to give zakat in a way that's impactful and organized. Some modern initiatives also use technology, like online platforms, to facilitate zakat payments, making it easier for people to contribute from anywhere in the world. Zakat is a powerful tool for promoting social welfare, from the time of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, to today. Whether the government collects zakat or individuals give directly to those in need, it still plays a key role in promoting justice and helping the community.